Oh my gosh, we're starting.
Yeah, we are.
Oh no, it's doing the thing again. Is it?
It's not doing anything over here, Allison. Every time,
Okay.
every
No,
time,
look, I'm going to
Allison.
share my screen again.
No, you're not gonna be able to see it
What?
out there.
Look, do you see it though?
Oh, that's nothing.
No,
Just
it's.
resize
Can I
it. Make
refresh?
it. Just make it a little bit bigger.
I'm
Resize the screen.
refreshing.
Don't
I
don't
have to
refresh it.
probably look.
You're gonna leave. Don't refresh it. Yeah, look, it's fine. It's not doing anything.
Okay. It was doing it again.
Uh,
I don't like it. I don't like it. This happened last time too. Okay, it stopped.
Welcome everyone to Allison Figures Out How the Internet Works. Every time. Every time. That should just be a new segment on there. Just Allison and her internet troubles constantly.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, get into Discord.
I'm in
Chris.
Discord already.
Oh, good.
Are
And then
you
we have to
there?
hit
Are you there?
record. I am. And then we hit record on QuickTime. I'm ready to go.
All right, let me see. Jeff's already here. He said, Happy Friday Eve.
Oh, you know, I thought it was Friday today.
It feels like a Friday.
It does. I drove my kids to their 3-hour camp today that I didn't put them in camp because I felt like they would enjoy it. I put them in camp because I need it. And I was like running through my mind of like what we have to do tonight. And I was like, oh, we have that birthday party tonight.
Oh, yeah, that birthday party.
Yeah. And then I get home and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm recording with Chris today. It's not Friday. It's Thursday.
Get your act together, Allison.
Birthday party's tomorrow.
Get your act together. Figure out what day it is. Let's say like
That was
this.
a
Okay.
really boring thing. Can I tell a really funny story before we hit record? Or should we hit record and then this could be a bonus, little bonus
I mean, I'm recording. Are you recording?
I am, but should we clap?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Well, hold on. Okay. Well, let me bring up Discord here. So we got our patrons joining us in Discord. Hopefully this is gonna work. Oh, I don't.
Yeah, we do.
I got this little weird box on the bottom. I got to figure out what's going on with that. You know.
It's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. As I try to resize this. Hold on. Let me fix this. Let me fix this before you start clapping, Allison. Wait.
Oh my gosh.
Hold on. Let me fix this.
You can do
Allison.
it. I believe in you.
Hey, look, it's Ecamm.
Oh my goodness. This is not working.
It's not. I don't know.
Chris,
It worked last time.
complicated. Okay, on the count of 3.
Sure.
1, 2, 3.
Got it. Got the
Okay.
claps. All right, go tell your story.
Random-
I'm gonna fix this while you're trying to tell your stories.
Random funny story that if
This
you want
better-
to use this as like a
this
random
better be
bonus,
funny.
you can.
This
Don't
is-
put this in the main episode. This is for our bonus people.
This better be
But-
funny.
Okay, I think it's funny. So yesterday, or all this week, I'm taking my kids they're going to a 3-hour STEM camp, and so it's like
It sounds less
engineering,
exciting
really.
now when you say it that way.
It's engineering. So they like are working with a 3D printer. They're building like RC cars. Like they're doing a lot of hands-on, really cool things. So they like it. It's only 3 hours. They have been looking forward to it. So they used the 3D printer for the first time, and they got to like go on the
that sounds
computer
fun.
and right. And
I wanna do that.
Now one of my kids wants a 3D printer for Christmas. I was like, how much are this?
3D printers are not cheap.
Okay. And so they were talking about what they were designing on the computer to print on the 3D printer at this camp. And one of my kids said, what if I were to 3D print myself? And my youngest son said, oh, if you 3D printed yourself, I would have a doo-doo doll of you. Hold on. A doo-doo doll.
And
he said,
okay.
and I would make you do the splits. And I just kind of giggled and like I didn't say anything. And last night we went to dinner, or we went over to my brother and my sister-in-law's house for dinner. And I was telling them this story. I was like, oh, James said if he had a doo-doo doll of Evan, and like they kind of start laughing. And James like sits up on the sofa and he said, yes, if I had a doo-doo doll of Evan, I'd make him do the splits. And we were all laughing. And Matt said, James, it's a voodoo doll. And James said, no, it's a doo-doo doll. I do it to the doll. And then that means Evan do it to himself. We were like, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like
I mean, he thought that through. He made it make sense. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. A doo-doo
and then
doll.
and then my sister-in-law was like, I love that like the malicious thing he's going to do is make him do the splits. Like that's
I'm gonna ruin his life. He's gonna have to do the splits. He's gonna hate it.
the most malicious thing he had in him.
Oh, you know that I like hearing stories of the things kids say without actually having to be responsible for them. This is the relationship I like here with children. Oh, that was funny. All right, go home now.
Yeah. And then I have one more. Sorry sorry, one word. Yesterday or 2 days ago, when I was driving them to this camp, they were starting to fight in the car. And I said, stop fighting in the car. And James said, are you going to use Gaga? They call my mom Gaga. Are you going to use Gaga's secret weapon? And I said, what?
Secret weapon?
What's her secret weapon? And Evan said, don't tell her what the secret weapon is. And I'm like, what's the secret weapon? And James said, when we fight in the car, she threatens to put on Kids Bop.
Hey, you know what? That's a good threat because I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, so
I don't want to hear that.
So whenever she's driving in the car and they're fighting, she'll say, you better stop fighting or else I'm going to turn on Kids Bop.
You know, okay, was Kids Bop was a thing when we were older, right? I don't think Kids Bop came out when we were actually kids, right?
No, it was when we were older.
I didn't know. Like, when was Kids Bop one? Original recipe.
It's not like now. It's not like a now one.
Oh, now, now that's what I call music. Do you remember those?
Now that's what I call music.
God.
It was the best because it was like all the singles that you would want to buy for like $3 on a CD, all on one CD. You don't need to commit to someone's like full album.
Okay, hold on. I think I found it. I'm gonna see if I can share it here. Let's see.
This is a total random side note.
This has nothing to do with anything we're doing right now.
Okay, oh my gosh, here we are on the Wikipedia page.
So Kids Bop Wikipedia.
When was it founded?
All right, let's see if we can find it on here.
October 2001.
2001. Huh, yeah, we would have been in like high school already at that point.
Yes,
it was late middle school.
We were in high school.
Yeah, so I've never had a Kids Bop CD thing, you know, so I don't. But I've heard it and it's horrible. I think it's illegal what they're doing to music. So
I used to, as a teacher, that's what teachers will put on because you can't trust, you know, regular
That's true.
music.
They're clean versions, but you get the radio version where they go, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But still, like, you can't even trust the radio version. So the kids version was always what you put on for like school music, like to listen to in the background or something. I am so happy I don't have to hear that anymore.
Oh no, I did put my brother onto Gracie's Corner. Have you ever heard of that?
No, what's that?
It's like this. It's this father and I think his daughter, and they put together like this kind of like hip hop like versions of like kids rhymes and like nursery songs and stuff, and they are good. They are good. I don't know if I can play it without us getting taken down. Yeah, it's on YouTube. I don't know if they do it anywhere else, but yeah, it's on YouTube. It has like 12 billion views or something because kids watch the stuff over and over again. But I'm like, I could listen to this. Like, I don't mind this.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Now that we've had a little appetizer.
All right. I think, who do we have here? So just to give a shout out, we have Shirley from our Patreon here in the Discord. I see Jeff's here. We got Kellyanne. Hey, Kellyanne, I don't think she's joined us before.
Oh, yes. It's because I posted it. Hi, Kelly. I posted on my stories today. Are you proud of me?
I am proud of you. I actually remember too, instead of waiting until like 5 seconds before. I was like, oh no. Also, I'd like to point out, Allison, you complained about the name cards below, so I fixed them so you could read it. It's legible for you.
I was not the only one that gave you that feedback.
I think it was primarily you.
It was not.
Okay.
It was not.
All right. Okay. Should we get into this?
Yeah, let's do it. I can't wait to hear your embarrassing story.
Ooh. Okay, I'm kicking this off.
Okay.
Maybe I'll make myself big here on the screen. So back in college, you get used to being on campus. It's much different than being at high school. You have all this freedom. You have all this room. You can go to get something to eat. You can go sit in the library. You can go hang out with people outside. You have all these options. And so I realized, I have these gaps between my classes. I can just go relax. I can go find a quiet place and just like take it easy. So I found that in the library, the school I went to, it was this weird situation where they had an old library and then a new library. Like they built, instead of tearing down the old library, they just built another one next to it. And then built a bridge across between them. So like on the third floor, there's like this walkway that you can walk through, it has windows and chairs and all this stuff. And I found that walkway is the perfect place to relax because people don't just hang out there. And it's a library, so it's not like it's overly packed anyways. So I was like, there's these nice comfy armchairs there. I can just sit there, relax between my classes and take it easy. So I was sitting there one day taking it easy and I was really tired because I probably went to sleep at 3 a.m. And I was like, let me just get a little more comfortable. Let me lean back. Like, well, maybe if I just kind of like scoot it back a little bit, I could like rest my head on the side. And next thing I know, I feel myself snoring and waking myself up. So I'm sitting there here and I just jump and I'm like this. And then everyone in that walkway was just sitting there staring at me because apparently I don't know how long I've been snoring for, but I at least snored once loud enough to wake myself up. Hey, this is Chris.
And this is Allison, and you're listening to This Is Awkward. And I picture, here's what I'm picturing. You're sitting in this chair, and you said everyone's sitting around you. I'm picturing like a teacher that's like sitting there reading a story, and all the kids are like sitting crisscross applesauce, pockets on the floor, like in this semicircle around them. And that's what I'm picturing, like, happened to you, where everyone's just staring at you.
This is like, imagine like just like a hallway, but a really wide one. Like, imagine a hallway that's like, I don't know, 30 feet wide. I don't know how wide this hallway was. And there's chairs, like there's like little tables, and there's also like armchairs on each side. And so some people walk through, and then other people are just kind of sitting there chilling, taking it easy because it's a quiet spot. And I'm over there just, sawing wood, apparently, just disturbing everybody.
So you were probably like legit snoring.
I fell asleep. I don't know how long I was asleep for, but I fell asleep.
Did anyone get like a piece of paper and like crumble it up and throw it at you to wake you up?
No, I just got some dirty looks. People were just like, that side eye.
Like, this is not the place.
No. So I grabbed my things and left. I was like, now's a good time to leave.
Oh my gosh, that's good. I love it. There have been times like that you wake yourself up. I've only really done that though, like in the car when I'm like a passenger, not the driver.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah. Oh, Kelly said like the rocking chairs at the Charlotte airport.
A good chair, man. I love a good chair, just so you can just relax. Like, I inherited this from my dad, I'm pretty sure, because he can sleep anywhere. My friends know my dad based off of the fact that he's always sleep on the couch. Like, they'd always come over and he would just be knocked out watching golf, sleep on the couch. So I've inherited that where I can just sleep anywhere. It really doesn't matter.
Wow. I wish I could do that. I can't. It takes me forever to fall asleep. And that's pretty awkward. I'm not going to lie. I feel like maybe this is a story that like people are like went and told other people about, and they were like, man, you should have seen this guy.
It's this giant man sitting in a chair just snoring. We're all trying to work over here. He's over there making all this noise.
Oh, goodness. I love it. That's pretty awkward, but that's what we do here, right? We talk about awkward stories, not specifically your awkward sleeping stories, but your awkward money stories. And it's exciting because we actually have a call today.
We do. I've always loved when people actually call in because it's just nice to add another voice. Like, we love all your stories, regardless of how you send them in, whether you send it in an email, on the website, social media, whatever. But there's something special about getting a phone call in that we can listen to.
Because it's like, we know it's a real person. It's not a bot. It's not a bot asking us a question that's then going to like ask for money afterwards or something.
Exactly. And like some people are like, oh, who's actually sending these stories? These are real people. So you get to hear a voice. So these are real people sending these stories in to us.
Yes. And if you want to be on our podcast and you want to send in your own story, you can do just like today's caller. She called 707-200-8259. She left us a voicemail. And I think that, Chris, you even changed her voice.
I did. I gave this promise a long time ago, and I wanted to follow up on this and say, look, I will do this. So if you call in, she didn't ask me to do this. Okay. So she didn't make this request, but I was like, if you like, I don't even want people to accidentally hear this and know it's me. I'll go in and I'll change your voice like you're in witness protection. So that's what I did for this call. They called in. I changed it up. No one even recognized who this person is.
Yes. Oh, maybe I'll send in an awkward story this time. If I do that, will you change my voice?
No, I'm going to leave it. I'll say yes, and then I will play it exactly how it sounds.
Oh, that's not cool. That's not cool. I don't like that at all.
Well, that's what it's going to be. But you know what? If you don't want to call us, sometimes you don't want to do that. You can also go to our website. It is awkwardpodcast.com. You can go there and you can leave your awkward story in written form. You can go to social media, go look for Awkward Pod. Was it? This is Awkward Podcast?
This is Awkward Podcast.
That's our social media handle. And you can go there and leave it for us as well.
Yes. And I don't even know what today's call is about. I haven't even heard it. I haven't even listened to it. So it's going to be a total surprise to everyone, including me.
Yeah, I went through and edited it and put it together, so Allison has no idea. So this is gonna be a fresh response. So you're on the hook for giving the first response, just so you know. You gotta go first. All right,
so do it. Okay.
But before we do, we gotta take a quick break because you know what my first response is when people say, "Hey, Chris, how can we get more of This Is Awkward?" I say, "You can come join us on Patreon." That's what I tell them.
Yes, Patreon is so fun. I mean, it's really fun. Not only do you get actually 2 bonus episodes a month, and it's not similar to these. If you're sitting here thinking like, awkward every now and then is okay. No, we have really fun episodes planned every other week. You get access to our Discord channel where you can Oh man, that's fancy.
We
Where
got
you can talk
animations
to
now,
us.
Allison. We got animations on the screen. Do you see this?
You get bonus episodes, you get no ads, and you get a private Discord community. And of course, you and I, we want to make it budget friendly. So it starts at just $3 a month to have those ads removed, and then $5 a month to get all the other good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then also we tested out a new segment there. It's
Yes.
called Am I the Awkward One? Shout out to Scroggy Mama. She's one of our patrons who gave us the title for that segment, where Allison and I, we surprise each other with awkward situations. So not necessarily money ones, just some really weird, awkward things that we've come across on the internet. And we rate it on a scale of 1 to 5 on how awkward it would be and how we would handle it. So we're doing some fun stuff over there, trying to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, we do. We are. Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I feel like
There
I
you
need
go.
some more caffeine.
I don't think you had enough. Have you only had one can today? Because you need at least, what, 12?
I've had at least one can of Coke, but I only had 2 cups of coffee.
Oh,
and that's where I've gone
wow.
wrong.
Your Coke to coffee
That's where-
ratio is all off. It's all off.
Yeah, I'm usually having way more coffee. I feel like I'm like not even making sense right now.
I don't even know how you're functioning.
I don't either. I really don't.
Wow.
So this might be a really interesting episode. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, so let's go take a quick break. We're going to hop into our awkward call when we get back. This is the break. There it is.
I do feel really weird, Chris.
You seem weird. I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to say anything.
No, are you being serious? I'm being serious.
Yeah,
are you being serious?
What's that on your face?
Shut up.
What is that? Hold on,
You're
let me make
such
it
a
big.
jerk.
What is that?
You're such a jerk. Don't be mean.
Oh, no.
Don't be mean to me.
You had too much caffeine in a 2-hour period. That's what it is.
I did not have enough caffeine. I'm so tired. Okay, I'm going to bring us back.
All right, bring us back, Allison.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, Chris, I'm ready for you to hit play on this awkward story.
All right. I tried to get the volume normal level, so hopefully this does not blast out to your eardrums as you hear me play this.
Hi, Chris and Allison. My story has to do with being first generation and having to have a conversation with my parents about their financial future. They immigrated here from a different country, and they don't really have a lot of savings or retirement. So as the oldest of 7 kids, I'm having to figure out how us kids can help assist. I am in my early 30s, and we are family planning. So I'm having to plan both for future children as well as helping my parents out in their retirement when I don't really have any other financial support besides myself and my husband, who also helps to financially support his parents. Now, I'm the only one that is financially able to help at this time, feeling quite a bit of stress and trying to figure it all out while not being resentful towards my parents and my siblings. Any advice you can offer about how to bring this up? I've tried to a few times and it just hasn't really gone anywhere. My parents have a really hard time opening up about like what help they need. I think that as immigrants, they did a great job coming here to give their kids an opportunity to be successful, and I just want to pay it back. So anyway, thank you. I love your podcast. Bye.
All right, Allison, take it away. Since you haven't heard this, I want your immediate reaction to this.
I guess, my immediate reaction is I actually just recorded a podcast with 2 people from the Dream Teacher Project, and it's Sunem and Israel Tovar, and they are first generation I believe they're first generation immigrants. But what they were talking about was the burden that people like this, are in because they feel like they have to carry the weight of them and their children and their parents. So they're carrying the weight of 3 generations on their back, trying to make sure that everyone is in a good position financially, which is a lot of stress to put on yourself
It's a lot of pressure.
and to take on.
Because it's enough pressure to take care of your own self financially. Like just sometimes thinking about like what you have to do. Oh, I got to save for retirement. Oh, I got to make sure I pay off this debt. Oh, I got to save for emergencies. Oh, I got to get some insurance. It's like that's enough alone to make you just want to not do anything. And then if you're like, oh, I also have to worry about these same things for other people, it makes sense why it feels like such a weight to handle something like this.
Yeah. And it's a hard thing to bring up because typically, older generations see talking about money as very rude or disrespectful or taboo. And so it's you're putting them in a very uncomfortable position to, number one, have to talk about something that has been very taboo, and then to also talk about something where they feel like they might have failed.
Yeah.
Or they might have dropped the ball. So it's like this double whammy. So I think number one, taking space and saying, okay, it's going to be uncomfortable and that's okay. Like don't go into it expecting this like rainbow conversation where everyone's excited and happy and butterflies are floating around and it goes well. You're going to be talking about something that's uncomfortable. Number two, expect that you're not going to get to have this full conversation in one sitting. Right.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, because like you want to like knock it all out at once. Come here, give me 25 minutes. We're gonna talk about this and fix all the problems.
Exactly. And you're expecting them to open up right away, and that can be really hard. And so you have to. It's going to be a continual conversation. And then I think also making sure not only, I mean, obviously this person I think wants to help their parents, but they said they are feeling resentful of their parents a little bit, which I think is totally normal. I think that's absolutely fine. Like, allow yourself to feel that way. It doesn't make you a bad child. It doesn't make you a bad sibling. And it doesn't make you a bad person. No. But what was I saying?
It's okay to feel resentful. I know you lost yourself there. You know, it doesn't make you a bad person. I don't know where you're going after that.
I don't either. I was going somewhere. It was really good. I was going to make a really good point. And then, I would say do the mindset work on yourself and then figure out what do you want to do? Like, obviously there's what you should do, right? What you feel in your heart you should do. But what do you want to do? And then when you're saying, you know what? I want to do this for them because it makes me feel good and it's important to me, that allows some of that resentment to fade away because you realize that, you know, part of you is doing this because you want to. And then figuring out, okay, what do you need to do with your finances to get yourself right? And how much time do you have until your parents do need your help?
That's true. Okay, let's break it apart.
Woo, that was a lot.
Because you just answered all their problems, Allison. So we're gonna break it apart.
Okay, I'm gonna take notes.
All right. So let's first. I want to focus on the part about being resentful, because
feeling.
Why are you writing like that?
Because
why is it so close to your face?
Feelings.
No, why you're writing like this? This is what you look like, Allison.
Because I don't have my glasses on. Feelings first. And then we're going to talk about how to have the tough conversation.
Oh, yeah?
And then we're going to talk about how to plan the money out responsibly. Okay, this is going to be a 3-part conversation. 1, 2, 3. You
look very responsible right now. That is gigantic, how big you wrote that. I hope you didn't need that page for anything else.
I didn't.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the feelings part, right? So the resentment. I think sometimes you feel guilty for feeling resentful sometimes, right? Like you feel like, I'm a bad person for feeling this way, even though I think it's okay. It's okay to have those feelings. Like it's okay to resent someone or be frustrated or upset by a situation. I think it's just natural. Everyone feels that way. You shouldn't beat yourself up for being like, I don't like this situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely agree. So how do you think someone should deal with that though? Like we're saying it's okay. Like it's okay for you to feel this way. But then what do you do?
Well, I got to just stop and say, Aaliyah said, Allison is such a teacher. That's what I was like, I was like, first I went to old lady, but yeah, you look like a teacher. Like, all right, class, let me show you all. First, we're talking about number 1, feelings. Can you use the word feelings in a sentence? Have you ever felt feelings?
The way I would also see it is a stair-step plan, right? We're going to talk about our feelings first. And that's going to help us get our mind right. Then we're going to talk about how to approach it in a conversation that makes everyone feel seen and heard. And then we're going to talk about how to make sure we are doing what we need to do to create a plan that sets us up for success.
If you're just listening to the audio of this, Allison has physical, displays to show everyone as we go through this. But okay, so resentment, right? I think it's okay. You just got to embrace the feelings, right? You just got to embrace what that is and understand it's okay to feel that way. And you have to decide, like, yes, you may feel upset about this, but then for you, what are you okay doing? Like, even if you do feel some resentment, even with those emotions, do you still feel okay going forward and helping? Like, is that a deal breaker for you? You're like, if I'm going to be stuck as the only one doing this, I can't, I won't, I'm not going to do it? Or is it like, I still want to do this, but I know I still have these feelings behind like all of this, and just being okay with just kind of like accepting that, but then doing what you want to do and feel is right for the situation. That's kind of how I would approach it.
Yeah, and I think also one of the things I was talking with my mom about, you know, good old Kathleen, she's the best.
Oh, Kathleen.
I was talking with her one time about like resenting someone, and she said, "Allison, do you think anyone wants to feel pity?"
Mm,
And I was like, "No." She was like, "Would you, if you were in this situation, would you want to feel like this, like someone to pity you?" And I was like, "No, I wouldn't." And she was like, "Okay, like you don't, that's not a productive thing." And so when you're thinking about your feelings and well, I guess this is kind of going into the conversation of like, your parents don't want to feel your pity. That is a very degrading place to be in.
mm, yeah, yeah.
It feels very degrading. And so when you're going through your feelings, number one, I think it's going to take time for you to work through that, and that's totally okay. But I think that you need to definitely do some journaling, do some therapy, talk through it, and ask yourself, okay, why am I feeling this way? Do I want to feel this way? Is it serving me? And then how can I turn my thoughts to where something that they are serving me? So instead of I'm, frustrated with my parents for not putting themselves in a situation where they can take care of it, saying something like, I understand that my parents did the best that they could, and they gave me, I understand that the parents did the best that they could. They're not going to be perfect, but I love them anyway.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I'll do my best to help them. And so being able to kind of turn that around and work on that, I think will help with, the first step, which is feelings. And I couldn't fit the S on there, so I had to write it underneath.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like and she even mentioned in her call that she's very grateful for what they've done, and
Mm-hmm.
they set their kids up for a good future. So I think she understands that. I think it's just like I think it's the weight of the
Oh, yeah.
responsibility is really what can make you feel resentful. And also, I think it's hard when she said she was one of seven, to be one of seven, and then knowing you're the only one who's going to help out, or who's willing to at this point.
Yes. I also think, though, if she's one of seven, and didn't she say she's 30?
Yeah,
That means that some of her siblings are very young. So just because they're
she
not
could be
able
the
to help
youngest.
now does what?
She
She's the
could be
youngest?
she could be the youngest. We don't know.
No, she said she's the oldest in her call.
Did she say that? Oh, well, there
She
you
said
go.
that she was, yeah, way to listen. She said she's the oldest. And so I think also that realizing, okay, right now they may not be in a position to help. However, I have faith in my siblings that they will one day be in a position
Mm,
to contribute to this. So it won't always be on me. Right now it feels, right? Like she's going through this and it feels like the weight of it's on her. Her
yeah,
parents haven't done enough. Her siblings aren't doing anything. So it all rests on her shoulders. Who's putting it there? Who's putting that expectation on
that's
her?
true. It is a self-inflicted amount of pressure she's putting on herself.
Yes. And so being able to recognize that and then just saying, you know what? Like, I know that where my siblings are now is not going to be where they are later. And so maybe they can't help now, but they will, someone's going to be able to help later. And then saying, I know that where my parent, where I am now, she's saying that she's stressed about family planning and all of these other things. You're not going to be in that financial state forever. And realizing that, it gives you hope and it helps remove some of that heavy burden.
Mm. I was gonna say, because I feel like I should interrupt and add this, and I'm gonna make myself big, since this is really relevant to the conversation here. Allison,
And because you can.
and because I can have full total control over here. Allison is the youngest in her family. You're the younger sibling, whereas I am the older sibling, the oldest. So I feel like sometimes you don't really understand what it's like to be the oldest. You just had the carefree life of being the baby and everyone taking care of your needs and blah blah blah. Allison this, Allison that. But being the oldest, you just automatically take on some of the pressure, even though you probably shouldn't, just because you've always been in that role of having to care for the siblings under you. It just happens. You're the default babysitter. you're the default chef, you're the default everything else because you're the oldest and you can do all the stuff that those little ones can't. And so I think it's natural for an older sibling to just pile it on and say, I have to not only look out for myself, I got to look out for my parents. I got to think about what's going on with my younger siblings. Is, you know, because it was with 6 other siblings, you know, not everyone may be, you know, in a great place financially. So then you're trying to worry about them. So I think it's just natural being the oldest that you start to just pile some of that on, even though you shouldn't, but you know, you wouldn't know, Allison. You know, you've had everything taken care of for you. I'm sure your brother had to carry you around, put you in bed, and lay you there. Here you go, little Allison. Put a little crown, a little princess crown on your head, and
it was a tiara. No, okay. So actually, when you first started saying all of this, I was getting very annoyed, and I didn't say it in my face because I was like, "That's not what it was like." But I realized my brother and I are only 18 months apart.
Oh, you're pretty
close in age. And women usually mature a lot faster than men. So maturity-wise, I'm older than my brother. However...
Does he listen to this? Can we send him a link to this?
No, he doesn't listen to this. I can say whatever I want. Anyway, however, when you were talking about that, I immediately saw my children. And my children are just over 2 years apart. And I can see my older son has that responsibility, has everything you were just saying. And I immediately was like, how do I take some of that burden off of him?
Yeah,
like, what do I need to do to take some of that burden off of him? Yeah, you need to be thinking about
that. Maybe one of us can get out of this whole older sibling thing in better shape. Go take some stuff off his plate now, Allison. Okay. Go make the younger sibling go clean his room for him.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Okay, so now that we've talked about feelings.
We got the feelings done. All right.
Now we're going to move on to having the conversation. This is how to have this and approach this conversation with parents that they're not open to having the conversation.
Yes, and I think we have a comment here. I think that goes along with this really well here. This is from Aaliyah again. She said, yes, have empathy for them. I remember in a past episode, Allison said that they don't have easy access to the information that we do today. So I think that's a good jumping off point for that.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you think about our parents, there was no internet. I mean, it's crazy to think about how people learned how to build wealth and how difficult it was to gather that information and to learn it. So you have to take that into consideration, number one. And then number two, having the conversation. I think also realizing that the conversation is going to be a process. It's not going to be a one and done thing. Expect pushback. But I think going into it, anytime you have a hard conversation, I think going into it and being able to say, okay, it isn't always going to go as planned. I'm going to like lower my expectations and I'm going to present what I want to say in a way that leaves room for empathy for the other person, and that we're not we're not pointing fingers. I was going to say finger pointing and name calling. We're not pointing fingers. We are just like presenting this concern, right? And realize that they might shut you down, and that's their right to say, I don't want to have this conversation. That is their right. If they want to work and not have to ask for that help, that is absolutely their right. But you know that maybe one day they will need that help.
Yeah. And I think that's a hard thing for me. Like, I was going to ask you this question as I was listening to what you're saying, because, you know, she's taking on all this weight, this responsibility. She's feeling stressed and overwhelmed. The conversations haven't gone well up to this point. She didn't go into detail, obviously, because, you know, it's probably hard to, in a voicemail, tell us everything. But I'm sure it was maybe, if I think of some conversations I've had with my parents, you know, it just gets uncomfortable. Maybe they're like, don't really worry about it. We got this. You know, it could be any combination of things. But how do you then approach this situation, and how you handle your feelings when you feel like you're responsible, but they don't want your help? And you're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen in, 10 years from now if I just ignore this and just say, well, you said you got it, I'll let you figure it out. Like, how do you handle that? How do you deal with that emotionally?
You want to roll, like, you want me to say words?
I mean, yeah, preferably in English so I can understand them, but your choice if you want to use, French or something.
I mean, I think I would go up to them and I would just say, hey, I really want to talk to you about this situation. I know that it might be uncomfortable, and I know that it might feel unnecessary to you, but it feels necessary to me. So acknowledging
I like that.
Yeah, acknowledging that they think that it's silly or uncomfortable, but then also saying it feels it's important to me that we
Mm,
have this conversation. And then saying like, you have done so well for us. You've given us so much, but I'm concerned that you won't be able to work forever, and I want to make sure that you are set up financially to where you don't lose your house, or you aren't struggling, I guess. And moving into that, and then just saying, it would make me feel very comfortable to have a plan, or to know what your plan is, so that I can help where needed, or make decisions as needed,
mm.
or something like that. Maybe not like take over and run your life,
Yeah,
right? Because they ultimately, they're still the parents. And when you have
exactly.
this conversation with them, they no longer feel like the parents. They feel like the roles have been reversed. And that is a very hard thing to do.
It is.
And so making sure that you're approaching the conversation where there's still respect in the current roles, even though the roles might be reversed, because they all
Mm.
roles reverse.
They
There's going
they
to come
do.
a time where we take care of our parents. I know that, my mother-in-law took care of her father, and it was like very difficult for her to see this role reversal. And, maybe he wasn't even aware of it by that time, but she was. And so sitting down and having that conversation and making sure you're doing it respectfully, and then saying, if they're like, no, no, just saying, okay, I understand you don't want to talk about this at this time. However, this is a conversation I do want to have in the future. So I'll check back in next month, or you let me know when we can talk about this, because it's on my heart.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because it's the power dynamic thing that
Mm-hmm.
the parents, I think, have a hard time with that shifting. It goes from them. You think about it. For the majority of your life while you were growing up, they were the number one authority. They handled everything. They made
Mm-hmm.
sure you were alive. They took care of all your needs. They planned everything.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden you're telling them that maybe they didn't do things. They may hear it as, You didn't do things the right way. You've messed up,
Yes.
and now I need to step in and fix this, and it could come off that way. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really important to be mindful of that power dynamic that exists, because just because they're older doesn't mean all of a sudden they don't see themselves as like the authority figure and the
Exactly.
the power. And I always recommend this book. It's called Mom and Dad We Need to Talk. It's by Cameron
Yes.
Huddleston. It's always a good book, because like for me, I don't have kids, so I can't come from that perspective. But also, my parents are still at a point where I don't really have to step in and do much for them. They're still pretty self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
So Cameron, she's dealt with this. Her mom has Alzheimer's, and she's had to step in and help her. And she said it was almost too late by the time she got in there and started to help her with her finances. She said if she would have waited any longer, she wouldn't have been able to legally start taking things over and have her
Yeah.
sign things over so she could handle it. But she comes from a perspective of understanding this and having dealt with this.
Mm-hmm.
But also, she has a really kind way of starting those conversations. She even has scripts that you can use to kind of help you
That's
initiate
awesome.
that. So I always recommend this when people have these type of conversations, because it's a minefield, right? It's like it
Mm-hmm.
could go wrong in so many ways if you're not careful.
Yes. And I also think, oh, I forgot what I was going to say again. Dang
Man, that
it.
caffeine, you really should have had one
I
more
should
Coke
have had another
Zero,
cup of coffee. I
a
think
cup of
I
coffee.
think I have some coffee left in my coffee pot. I think when we're done recording, I'm going to make myself an iced coffee with the coffee that's sitting in my coffee pot. Is that gross? To like use the old coffee from
Yeah,
this morning?
I'm sure it'd be great. You don't need to sleep between now and Sunday, so just go for it. Bless you.
Excuse me. I wanted to mute it before I sneezed, but I didn't get there in time.
How
Okay,
about we
yes.
get to
So
your last?
definitely,
Okay,
what?
I was gonna say, how about we get to your last step? I don't know if we got to step
Okay, yes.
3 in your
So our
diagram.
last step is to make a plan. And I think that it's important to make a plan regardless of whether your parents are on board.
Mm.
So hopefully
Oh, I like
you
that.
can
I didn't even
sit
think about that.
down with
Yeah.
them and you can make a plan with them. And hopefully they are open to sharing with you even just the smallest numbers of their money, so that way even if it's just literally their expenses. Making that plan and knowing how much money they have coming in, how much they're going to be able to rely on, or even showing them how to figure that out.
Mm.
And if they are not willing to sit down and make a plan with you, which you have to respect that decision,
Yeah. Yeah. You
then
do.
you need to make a plan for yourself. What are you going to do? What can you reasonably set aside now, or in the future. So I like thinking of it as just like setting it up as an automatic thing, like a sinking fund. What if you
Yeah. Yeah.
literally did just set up money right now, $50 a month, $20 a month, and just set it aside? And over time, as your financial situation changes, then that number can increase. Because I know I have friends that have to give, money to their parents every single month. It's like they give their parents $1,000 a month to get
Oh,
by. And
that's a good amount of money.
it is. And thankfully, they are her and her husband are in a financial position where they can do that. But not everybody is going to be. So
No.
being able to make a plan, not just for how you're going to help your parents, but how are you going to put yourself in a position financially to where you have some extra wiggle room in your budget to do that.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to do it. Cause like if you're putting the weight on yourself of having to be responsible for all of this and they're not necessarily going along with the plan, you can still, like you said, build a plan on your own to make you feel better. Cause right at this point, it's about making yourself feel a little less stressed, a little less overwhelmed. And one of the best ways to do that is a plan. It kind of reminds me of like if you're saving for a kid's college, right? If you save outside of a 529 plan, then, you can use it for whatever you want. So it's one of those things like if your kid decides, they found a different career path, they don't need to go to college, maybe they went to a less expensive college, you have that money you can just keep for yourself and maybe throw it in your retirement account or do something else with it.
Exactly.
It's the same thing like this. Even if this doesn't work out, and they don't need your help, best case scenario, their financial situation changes or your brother siblings start stepping in as they get older and you all kind of get a plan and you don't need to contribute as much, then you have all this money set aside that you can take care of your new child if you end up having a child or, take care of something maybe you've neglected in your finances. So I think that's a really great approach to this.
And I think also looking forward 10, 20 years down the line, you will feel a lot better knowing that you've set aside even something. And you'll feel better if they need it. You won't have that resentment then. And saying, I told you we should have talked about this 20 years ago.
Yeah, I could see that
you're
happening.
Going to say, I know you didn't want to talk about this 20 years ago. And that's why I've been setting aside money just in case. So I'm so happy that I have that there. So think about how your reaction changes 20 years from now.
Yeah, exactly.
And how you don't have this frustration with your parents. You don't have this resentment. You don't have this anger towards them. Instead, you can approach them with grace and not pity, but with love. So
Ooh.
That's what it comes down to. Your 3-step plan, caller, is to deal with your feelings, acknowledge your feelings, and get your mindset right. Approach and have the conversation. Get that book, Mom and Dad, We Need to Talk, and then make a plan, not just for your parents, helping them make a plan, but a financial plan for yourself as well. And when we follow all 3 of those steps, we can have a successful, encounter.
Wow, thanks for taking us to your TED Talk. I really appreciated that.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Oh, no, I think I don't have nothing else to add to that. I think that's a great way to summarize up our conversation here. And yeah, I hope that helps. I hope this really helps. And, let us know if you have any other questions that pop up or if you have a conversation and you want to let us know how it went.
Yes, I love what Aaliyah has to say. Just to wrap it up, she said, I love this class. There we go.
Why is it taking so long to bring out Teacher Allison into the show?
No, it's so
You've been
fun.
hiding her away. You've locked her in that cupboard back there. You said, I will not be a teacher. It's over. And we finally got her to come out. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess it's time for another break. But in the meantime, also, we got to say thanks to our anonymous caller who called in. If you want to be like her and you want to call us and add your voice to the show, you can give us a call at 707-200-8259. We won't answer. So, this caller called in. It just went straight to voicemail. And I changed her voice. She sent in 2 messages. So actually, she sent in one and then she had a follow-up call that she left after that. So I kind of just put them together. I combined them into one call. So don't feel like you got to be perfect. I'll go through. I'll clean it up for you. We just want to have you be a part of the show and help other people with your story here on the podcast.
Yes. We'll make you sound amazing.
Oh, yeah, we will. People are like, oh, I didn't know this person also had a podcast. Like, yeah, no, we make you sound professional. Or
That's right.
You can go to awkwardpodcast.com and you can actually just write it out and send it to us that way. You got plenty of options to get your calls and your questions and your stories into us.
Exactly. We look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, so I guess we'll take this break and we come back for Allison's favorite segment. The only reason she joined this podcast was to talk about what she's loving. So we'll be right back after, a few little seconds here. Are you trying to make me? Are you trying to say something about the fact that I can't pull my hair over my face like that? Is that what's going on?
I'm like, I can look like you. Watch. I can just gotta have this. Do I look like Chris?
You need to pull a little mustache over. There you go. Oh, wow. It's like I'm looking in a mirror. It's
This is not my finest moment. I clearly need more caffeine.
Yeah, you do. All right. I know you had to get out of here. So let's want to bring you. How about you bring us back? Or you want me to bring us back? Your choice.
Chris, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for this?
I guess. I'm not sure anymore.
It's time for what I'm loving.
Hold on. Wait. Do it again. I got to give you this. I got to give you the air horn.
Are you going to cut this part out?
No, it's going to be in there because we're going to do it twice.
Okay. It's time for what I'm loving. This is when Chris and I share things that are bringing us joy, things that are making us happy, things that just light us up inside in the hopes that we too can help you just appreciate the small, medium, and big things in life that you might be loving as well.
The small, medium, and big things. Yeah.
In case you didn't know, I don't like plan out what I'm going to say when I talk about that.
Are you kidding me?
Make it up on the spot.
What? I would have never guessed that. Not in a million years.
Sometimes it's great and inspirational. Today it sounded like a second grader talking about it.
Well, how about you take us away? What are you loving? I didn't even look at the list to see. Oh, actually, I do know what this is.
I'm actually loving something that you got me onto, Chris. So
You're
props
welcome.
to you. You're the best. Oh my gosh, I am sick. I think I have a fever. It is my under the desk treadmill. So Chris, how long have we had these? We got them around the same time.
Several months at this point, I think.
Several months.
It's a couple months.
So maybe like in what, April?
Sure,
May,
why not? Why
May.
not?
Yeah, around that time, I purchased, because Chris purchased it, and sometimes he just sends me links, and he's like, buy this. I'm like, okay. And I purchased this treadmill that I could use under my desk. Now, backstory. I used to walk a lot as a teacher, a lot. Like I would get 10,000 steps by at least 3 p.m. every day. Obviously, now that I work from home and I sit a lot, I would be happy to get 3,000 steps. Well, we got Harry, our dog, and I started taking him on 2 walks a day. And that was great. I was getting in good steps with that. I was fine with it. Then enter May. It is freaking hot outside. So I can't take him on these walks anymore because it's actually, it's not good for him to be out on the hot cement and then, taking him out where anyway, it's just we don't need him getting sick. So we only take him on walks in the evening, like 8 or 8:30, because that's the only time you can in Texas. So I'm no longer getting all these steps in. And when you told me about this treadmill, I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And the days I walk on my treadmill are amazing. Like today, well, except for today, because I feel really out of it. But today I walked 3 miles. Yesterday I walked like 6 miles on the treadmill. And I have become a pro at walking on the treadmill while writing my book.
Well, see, here's the thing. I remember when I told you about this, I saw someone I think we talked about it here on the podcast. I saw someone on TikTok who was doing this treadmill work desk situation. I was like, I think we should try this. And you were like, well, I don't know if I'll be able to work. How am I going to focus? I can't work and walk at the same time. You were really concerned about that. So clearly you figured it out.
I did. And a lot of people have sent me messages because I shared about it on Instagram, and they're like, I don't understand how you do this. Like, how do you focus? And I started out really slow. Like, it's just like, you have to get used to it. You have to train your body to do it. I would start out really slow, and I would walk so slow that I thought, is this even worth it? But then
doing anything?
But then it's like, oh, it adds up to a mile. But now I can walk pretty fast. Like today when I was working on my book, I think I was walking, my treadmill goes by numbers. I don't know if it's miles per hour or kilometers per hour. I don't know. But it's 2.4. And
do you have it in kilometers? Do you really embrace the Canadian metric system? I guess not the Canadian metric system.
Everyone else in the whole world embraces the metric system. Why shouldn't we? I think it's trash that we don't use the metric system. Number one, it's so much easier to understand than the crap we use. Sorry. I've had to teach the difference in school.
I was trying to find a video of it, but I'm not logged into Instagram here. But here's you on your treadmill, one of your videos here.
Yes. So
just imagine her walking. Imagine this is a video just walking.
You can click on that.
Well, no, I'm not logged in, so it won't work.
Womp womp. Anyway, It's really great. I love it. I can easily roll it. I lift my desk all the way up and I roll under my desk. I go under my desk and I roll it out of the way. And I usually just walk once a day. If I'm feeling like super crazy, I'll walk twice a day.
If you want to get wild.
Yeah, if I want to get wild. But I can walk pretty fast while writing my book now. And I can type. It's crazy. Like, I didn't think I would be able to. I was really concerned about that. But I love it.
It's a good investment. Like I have one down here, but see the thing is, like Allison is clearly, you know, like 1/3 of my size. So I bought one on Amazon, but it was not meant for someone of my size. So I think it was like I'd be walking. I was like, this is like burnt plastic in here, because I was clearly burning the motor out or something. So I got rid of that one. I had to get a bigger one. So it's not as compact as the other one was. So it's a little more cumbersome, but it is nice because, you know, working at home, being at home all day, I'm not walking. I was getting like 2,000 steps a day, which is probably not a good thing. So I'll second this. I'll second that. What you're loving here.
Yeah, it's a good one. Okay, what are you loving?
All right. So for me, we're going to play the game we always play, Allison, and I want you to guess what it is that I'm loving based off of what I wrote in our notes.
Okay, well, I wrote it.
Oh, well, thank you.
So
okay, well,
you told me it. Okay, you had me write the word physical. So I'm going to say that this isn't like, we're not talking about your marriage here. So we're going to put that aside.
Is that what you call it? Me and my husband are getting physical tonight. Is that what you say?
That's physical. That's actually a good code word around the kids.
I think they'll figure that one out.
That was a fun talk we had recently. Anyway, so I think that you went to the doctor and you got a physical. And I think that you went to the doctor and you stepped on the scale and you had your blood work done. And the doctor was like, Mr. Browning, what have you been doing? I am so impressed that your hyperglycemic index has dramatically, I don't know.
Hyperglycemic index. Okay.
I don't know. Is that something? Your A1C has decreased. And what have you been doing different? And you respond, well, doc, I've been walking on my treadmill and I've been eating vegetables. And you just felt really good after going to your annual physical.
I don't know where you come up with these stories, Allison. I wish I could be inside of your head and just understand what's going on in there and how you hear physical and then what gets pushed through the machine and out your mouth is me getting the physical at the doctor's appointment. Okay, no, this is not it. No, not even close.
All right.
So
it's not about your A1C?
It's not about my A1C. It's actually about a TV show. There's a TV show on Apple TV called Physical. I just literally finished season 2 either last night or the night before the last episode, and this show was amazing. So Apple TV's really coming through with the originals.
Are they?
Like
with Severance.
Yeah,
The Morning Show. Loot. I've been watching Loot.
Okay, I just started that one. I was like, is it worth continuing? I haven't finished Loot.
Funny.
It's funny. They have what's the other one? I was talking to a friend about it. We were talking about what's another one? Oh, Ted Lasso, Mythic Quest. I don't know if you've seen that one. Oh, no. I thought this was not going to be a good streaming service at all, and they're coming through with some of my favorite shows that I've seen this year.
We actually just renewed it because we had it for free. So we actually just paid money.
It's worthwhile. I'm shocked. It's worthwhile.
Yeah. And we canceled something else to be able to pay for it.
You gotta balance it out. The streaming services are getting wild.
They are.
With these
fees. Okay, so what's it about?
Okay, so I took a chance on this one because I had seen it. It looked kind of interesting. I had seen like the cover art, but I was like, I don't know. But Apple had so many good shows. So I was like, well, maybe this is good. And it is. So this is it's starring Rose Byrne, which I didn't know. I don't know actors. I never know who any actor is, but she's been in a bunch of stuff apparently that I didn't even know about. But she is kind of like, she's like a stay-at-home mom at this point, and her husband, he's not the greatest person in the world. He's very selfish, kind of like a self-centered guy who's trying to get into like the politics scene in San Diego. And she falls in love with aerobics. She was a dancer when she was younger.
I thought you were going to say she falls in love with a robot.
She falls in love. Why? Hold on. Why a robot?
Just the way you were saying aerobics, I heard and I was like, a robot?
No, sadly, no. This would have been a whole different show if it was a robot, but no, it's aerobics. And so she's what I really like about the show, what makes it interesting, throughout the show, she has this inner like voice going throughout the entire show where she's like beating herself up. and so she has an eating disorder, and
This sounds really sad.
it's a dark comedy. It's a dark comedy.
Okay.
And she has this eating disorder, and this voice in her head is constantly beating her up and like telling her, "You're not worth anything. You're horrible. You're garbage." Like really being mean to herself. And she's saying all the stuff in her head that she wants to say out loud to other people too, because she just is like so repressed. And so this aerobics kind of becomes her outlet, and you kind of follow her journey as she's like this cutthroat person. Like she is not a nice person at all. Like she does whatever she can do to get ahead.
I feel like this is like some sort of autobiography for like a Beachbody coach.
I mean, it may be based off of that. I don't know.
Really going on inside of some of these like really fit people's minds.
It's an interesting story. It is a dark one. They do give a disclaimer at the start of every episode. If they do depict any type of eating disorder, they give a disclaimer just in case you're someone who suffered with this or you have family. You may not want to watch this. But it's very well acted. Story is like, it's really interesting. The second season is even better than the first season.
Really?
I'll highly recommend this show. I don't want to say too much and spoil it, but it's a great show.
Okay, I think I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah, it's like you definitely don't have your kids there while you're watching this one.
Oh,
it's
no.
not.
Yeah, I don't watch any TV around my kids.
Except for
I try not
Kids
to.
Bop music videos. That's about it.
I don't even watch that. No, thank you. Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'm loving. So yeah, if you're looking for a new show, I highly recommend it. There's 2 seasons out there now for you to check out.
Okay. It also is a really good reminder. This has been a good reminder for you to go get your annual physical.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there.
Hey, this was both a recommendation and a public service announcement. So
exactly.
Go for it.
That's what we do here, people.
Oh, all right. You want to take us to our last segment here before we get out of here?
Yes. Our last segment is our listener shout out. And this is
Yes.
a very exciting one because not only do we love shouting out people that leave us podcast reviews, which by the way, you can just go into Apple and just scroll down and just leave us a podcast review super quick. It's super fast. We love reading them. But we also really like shouting out our patron members, specifically when they have a birthday, or anniversary. What do we call this?
Is it awkward anniversary or awkward birthday? Let's call it anniversary, I guess.
Anniversary, because of the alliteration.
Oh yeah, AA, awkward anniversary.
Okay, so do you want to shout out this person?
I do. This goes out to Scroggy Mama, aka Latoya. She has been a patron for a little over a year now, and she's probably one of our most active members in the Discord when we go live. She's always throwing out great suggestions. She helped us name our new segment that we've been testing out.
Yes.
And overall, it's just, you just meet someone you're like, I wish we would have been friends a long time ago, because it's so nice having her in there. And she adds so much to the experience, and we really do appreciate her support.
We do. And we really do I wish we could I wish we could have like an awkward happy hour with our patrons, like in person.
I know. Maybe we get enough patrons, we can fly everyone in and have a happy hour.
We are rich.
we're launching a new tier. It's $1,000 a month. You can come in and you can get flown in for happy hours.
We will fly you in, but your flight caps at $500. Oh, goodness. Anyway, Latoya, Scroggy Mama, thank you for being here. You add to the fun, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we've reached the end of an awkward episode. Hopefully in enough time so Allison can go pick up her kids and not abandon them at camp. But if you want to come join us on a future episode and submit your awkward story, again, you can call us at 707-200-8259, or you can go over to awkwardpodcast.com and you can just type it out there and leave your message for us, letting us know what's going on in your life when it comes to money and awkwardness.
Yes. And if you're loving This Is Awkward and you want a little bit more of it, then consider joining our Patreon, where we have, where you go to patreon.com/This Is Awkward podcast. Tiers are super inexpensive, and we're testing out some new and fun formats that we might bring onto the show. And we just have a lot of fun conversations. We laugh. We talk about things that might be a little bit more personal that not just anyone can talk about.
And if you want to hear about our latest physicals, so we'll be dropping that in the Patreon in the next coming weeks. Look out for that.
Just give you our MyQuest login for those lab results. Just kidding. That's not what you get. It's better than that.
Yeah. No, we won't be doing that to you. But it got a little awkward at the end. And I think it's time for us to step away. But thanks for everyone for joining us. If you didn't know, I don't think I ever say this. We record our main episodes on YouTube Live. So if you want to come join us, look in the show notes. There should be a link to the YouTube channel. Ali also said, don't forget, you can go to www.awkwardpodcast or .youtube or whatever, .anything.
Oh,
Just don't forget the www. But yeah, you can come join us over there. Be a part of what we do. Come join us live, or if you join us on Patreon, you can join us for all the episodes in Discord and on YouTube for the ones we don't air live for everyone else.
Yes, we hope to see you there.
All right, we'll see you all soon.
Bye.